So today I'm going to run you through a few things that I see that are wrong when people are kicking. A lot of mistakes that multiple people make. I'd say 80% of people make when they're starting out. If you can develop your kick with the correct technique and trying to be self-conscious of the mistakes that you're making, I'm sure that you'll go through this and you'll notice a couple of things which I'm saying which are wrong. You'll see that in yourself if you're just starting out or you're an amateur. Even professionals, some professionals still make these mistakes, me included sometimes, but as always we're chasing perfection. So I'm going to go through and explain how to fix them as well. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first mistake that I see people making a lot of times when we're kicking, we're stepping really square and straight down the middle. Now the mistake with this, it's going to cost you your hip movement, right? So when I'm kicking, I have to think if my foot's straight like this and my hips are square facing towards the camera here, as soon as I let this leg go to kick, my hips can only go so far, right? You want your hips to be nice and open because you're going to want to, as soon as you let that leg go, you're going to want to swing and throw it across and let the momentum travel through the shot horizontally, so going over this way. If I keep my leg flat straight here and my toes pointed forward, what's going to happen is I'm going to just limit my kick, right? The second thing with this is that when your leg is straight like this, a lot of the times we can see people and they fall behind the opposite leg. Now, for balance purposes, if someone kicks you back, even if you're managing to get a block up here when someone kicks you back, most likely you're going to fall back out of the shot. And if they follow up with something, you're not going to be able to defend and you're not going to be able to counter, okay? So it's also good for keeping your feet good after you've kicked. So when I'm teaching this in classes or with training people, I like to explain, I like to have markers. I mean, there are some markers on the floor here, there are straight lines. But even putting something in your center line here, so you'll make sure you're stepping over the center line, is something that you can do. Whether it's a glove on the side here, you try and touch your foot to the glove. So I'm making sure that I've got a marker that I'm stepping out with all the time. So when I release that leg, the kick is gonna follow and go through the shot. Remember, don't ever step down the middle, okay? Balance purposes, kicking purposes, power purposes, you're gonna really lose all that when you step directly. So always stepping at an angle, all right? This is the first thing. Okay, so the second thing we're gonna go through is relaxation of the leg. My coach was very heavy on this when he was teaching me, and I see a lot of people, they kick with the leg that they're kicking with, they kick stiff, okay? So we'll often see like, and try and gauge power through that stiffness and having your legs sort of like really tight. The whole purpose when you let a shot go should be you let gravity do the work. You have good technique in the standing leg, but this leg that's kicking, I let it go with a loose leg, so then I have great technique, my hips are in, but gravity takes the shot and it becomes a heavy shot. Any stiffness that is like this with the leg is gonna limit your power. And as well, you're trying to go through the target. So if I'm here, I'm trying to chop, I'm trying to go through the bag, through the person. I'm not trying to hit this and come out. That's not the aim of it, okay? We wanna go through, especially if you're chopping into the body, not the arm, you're gonna wanna try and push all the way out the other side. So making sure you've got a loose leg is gonna really help that, all right? So relaxing. Even before you kick, my coach made me do this as well. He made me shake my leg out like this, loosely, a few times, and then he would ask me to kick. Again, you're getting the feeling of what it's like for your leg to be relaxed and loose, and getting that feeling a bit relaxed and loose will help you when you go into your kick. It's quite a stupid thing that it looks like, but it really helps when you're trying to get that relaxation in your leg, yeah? So flick it out, flick it out. I flick my leg a couple of times here, loose, loose. Yeah, it just really helps with taking that weight through the shot and not being stiff in this leg. Okay, number 3 we're gonna go through arm position when you kick. I did a video on my Instagram about this the other day, but I'll go a little bit more into detail on here. Bringing the elbow tight to the body is gonna help with the rotation of your torso, all right? So, for example, when I'm here, I don't wanna see this arm flying up like this, yeah? You're able to protect your head and protect your body as you kick, as long as you keep the arm tight to your body and you're sort of like squeezing your stomach here, yeah? When you're kicking, you're creating that tension. So when you pull this arm into the body here and you kick, that's pulling, which means that's gonna push so my shoulder and my hip are in, and it's gonna help me, again, develop that power and go through the shot when I'm kicking. Okay, that's really important as well. Anything that is like this, your balance is not square then, yeah? Your balance is like here and here, it doesn't work, yeah? You wanna have everything nice and tight, so when you kick, you're sort of pulling your elbow into your hip or into your like pocket, yeah? Remember, don't be like this. You're gonna open up your head here. If a shot comes as a counter and they step off to the opposite side, you're gonna get hit. So you've got to make sure you're here. Lock the arm on the body here, okay? I'll show you on the back. So here, like that. And again, yeah? I'm dragging that arm back so I can turn my body this way. All right, this is quite a really big thing as well that I see in people. So getting used to, you can also put a glove underneath your body here and you can lock it on with your elbow so you've got something to hold there, because if you pull your arm out, whatever's here is going to drop, then you know that your elbow's away from your body. Again, we're using markers to make sure our technique is correct. The amount of times you do it like this, then you'll get used to it, and when you're on the pads, you'll naturally pull that side of the body in and kick like this, okay? Okay, so the 4th thing we're gonna go into is arm position when we're kicking, okay? Now, I was taught, and I still teach this, to put the arm across, okay? So if I'm kicking my partner, I'm sort of aiming for my arm to go across to their shoulder here. This helps with bringing your shoulder in. A lot of the times when we see kicking, we see this, okay? We wanna try and bring that shoulder right across to the center line, so we're not pulling the weight back and trying to push the kick in. You have to think about it logically, right? If my power's trying to go this way and I'm pulling my body this way, it doesn't match up, yeah? People often confuse the swinging of the arm. They say, well, you know, the swinging of the arm, it's going backwards. Correct, but the shoulder is in still, all right? They're not kicking like this. This is pulling the shoulder out. This is still pulling the shoulder into that center line, yeah? Which is what I want. So some people, they pull it down like this, they teach that, that's absolutely fine as well. It's not wrong, but it's about where the shoulder is, yeah? Boom, here. If my arm's back like this, it's not gonna work. And if you're always doing this, I always say to people when I'm coaching, exaggerate the technique of what's supposed to be right. So to get the shoulder in, we exaggerate the technique and we kick and we put that arm across like this, yeah? So then, once you get it, once you can pull the shoulder in correctly, boom, then you can start to snap the arm back if you want, all right? There is no need to have your arm sort of like in this like hook position and kick like this, yeah? It's either here, okay, or it's here, yeah, when you're kicking. It's up to you. I would suggest if you're a beginner, start putting the arm over like this, boom, when you're kicking, just to, again, get that shoulder in and get your hip in. Remember, there has to be a line, yeah, and the line has to be correct with your shoulder and your hip. That means you're gonna bring the whole body with the kick, all right? Okay, so the next thing we're gonna go over is a strong standing leg and not rolling back onto your ankle after you kick. When you kick, it's not just about the kick, it's about the position that you have after you kick. Again, going back to the thing that we did before, you have to be able to defend, and you have to be able to punch, or you have to be able to kick or step even. Yeah, if you're rolling back onto your ankle like this after you kick, you're losing position. And a lot in Muay Thai we see kick for kick, because the body kick is the highest scoring technique in Muay Thai. So being able to block and block correctly is so important. If I'm blocking like this and falling out of the shot, the block's no good. The kick still scores well. Okay, so a lot of people forget that when they're blocking, it needs to be like a strong block and not getting moved. If the kick is hitting your block, but it's moving you and you losing position, the kick is still scoring every single time. Yeah, so you want to make sure that your balance is good. What I would say for this, most people, they step too far in, they throw the kick, and then they roll out like that. Okay, again, so they are stepping across, but they're stepping too far in, and they're going here, and then they're rolling back on that angle. All right, distance management. Okay, you want to remember that, distance management. I want to be able to kick and not get hit. This is coming from someone who kicking is my game. I understand it very well. So always what I wanted to do when I was fighting people, I wanted to kick them without them punching me. Okay, so you want to think about that and keeping your body underneath, over the top of your legs. Sorry, yeah. If your shoulders are leaning out here, yeah, naturally when you hit something and it's quite strong and you get pushed back, what's the first thing that goes? The shoulders, because they're over the hips. You're going to lean out, which means you're going to roll back on that foot, and it's not a good position to be in, to defend, to counter, whatever, right? So make sure you're getting a nice distance on your kick where you can keep your torso, your frame in line with your hips, in line with your leg. Yeah, that's going to stop you from that rolling back on the ankle. And make sure that your leg is nice and strong when you come up. Yeah, I don't want to see this. Yeah, leaning outwards and stepping in too far. Keep your range. It's going to help you with your balance. All right. So from here like this, a step. That's my range. Back strong. Again. That's my range. One more. That's my range. And back. Okay. The last thing we're going to go over is when you come up, I want you to come up from the hip. Okay, I want the hip to be engaged already when you're going to come out here. If you look at my heel is off the floor. What this does is it creates some tension and creates like a spring. So if I'm here like this and my foot's already loaded and my leg's already loaded, my kick can come in from where it is nice and quickly. Remember, time to target is super important, right? So when I'm here like this, and if I have to engage the hips, then kick, it's gonna take a lot of time, yeah? I wanna sort of bring the time down as low as possible so my opponent doesn't counter it, doesn't block it, and it lands nice and clean, okay? So stiff ankle, hips in, yeah? Even if you have to start your kick in this position, again, I'm exaggerating things, but you need to exaggerate things so you can get the shot in quickly and you understand the mechanics of it all. If I'm in already and my hips are in, I can let that shot go from the floor. I don't want to be any sort of like loading. No, I want to be here, boom, out from the floor like a coiled spring, all right? And on top of that as well, when you come down from the shot, if you have tension when you come down, it's going to help you with your stability to get back in your position, all right? So if you watch my back leg, okay, I'm coiled, I'm there, back down. See how my heel is still off the floor here, yeah? If you have to go down straight into that, you're going to go down strong. If you go kick, yeah, if some sort of resistance on the floor, you're going to be strong when you hit the deck. If you're not, you're going to maybe roll back into that ankle as well. So this is another thing that I see as well. Yeah, and once you get all of them together, you're going to develop a much better kick, I promise you. Just focus on the details. The details are super important. You can trust me in the fact that I know what I'm talking about from who I was coached by and how they coached me and how I coach you guys. Yeah, if you do these things and you get them correct and you try and work on them small details, you will have a much better kick, I promise you. Thanks very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe, comment. I hope it helped you. Also drop in the comments if you want me to cover anything that you feel you need to work on or you feel like you see a lot of the time in the gyms. Yeah, thank you very much.